She can?
Yeah, she can.
Well, if, sure. Does Cash ask Zacharias for this?
She will indeed.
Zacharias will look somewhat suspicious at Cash. You do realize, Lady Cash, that this book is extremely valuable to me.
I do, and why would I destroy it?
I don't know.
Why are you so suspicious?
Because the spellbook of a wizard is sort of his heart and his brain in one. This is my thoughts, and this is my very soul in this book. Without it, I am not much.
Well, I only want to mention it for you, that it would be a great asset to help you in battle.
Seems to consider very well. You may copy things from my spellbook.
Cash smiles.
But if anything happens to it, you owe me a lot.
Fine, I owe you a lot then, if it happens.
Very well. And Zacharias will lend Cash the spellbook for scribing when he is done with it himself.
Sure. The specifics of that we can take care of sometime.
Sure.
Right. You notice that every night, of course, Theodora actually sort of comes out here and just sort of walks along the railing, looks in. It seems that every night you stop, you're in sort of sight. In land, there is a village or a small town. She simply looks at it, smiles, and then walks back into her cabin. And is gone, it seems, for the night. This happens every night. You always throw anchor when you get within sight of a village like that. And Theodora leaves. Very sort of happy. Third day, or rather the fourth morning, she comes out of the cabin, looking towards Zacharias, apparently being the closest.
Zacharias is sitting down at the mast, scribbling in his book.
So, dearest, I remember you wanted some news.
A face of anguish upon Zacharias when he looks around. Clearly very unhappy with being called dearest. He closes his book with a snap and gets to his feet. Yes. Please.
He smiles sadistically at his reaction to her words as she begins to tell. The others can listen if they want to, but I remember you specifically asking, so I will indulge you.
Zacharias looks at the others and makes a wave with his hand and prestidigitation, sort of a loud noise, grabs everyone's attention, and he motions to Theodora. Theodora wishes to indulge us. We better listen.
Oh, does she know?
The call has gone out. Fire Axe invasion has caused quite a ruckus, as no one expected the watch wall to be broken, especially not without any word. The Southern Lords are in a bit of a panic, not really realizing, or at least somewhat overestimating, the power of the Fire Axe. They are hesitant to gather their forces, as they are sure they will lose them. Forces have been drawn from most of the heartland towards the north and northeast especially. The watch wall we are sailing along has indeed been weakened quite a bit. Many young lords from the northern regions, being poor, have travelled down southeast to gain officer ranks and to perhaps win glory in war. The high nobility, however, is not afraid. They realize that, of course, the king's army can and will crush the Fire Axe without our help. She smiles. Now, this will most likely take some time, as gathering and mustering such an army is a difficult task indeed. The Fire Axe should have good time to ravish the countryside. That, and with the raiders that seem to have been attacking villages at the sea border, not allowing forces from there to be drawn in, there is a real chance of damage, permanent damage, to Talingard.
Zachariah smiles. Oh yes, the Sea Raiders. I wonder who tipped them off and swayed them to our cause.
She smiles. Yes, who indeed? She continues. The commanders, murdered, have stopped any immediate response, laying much of the land defenseless. Talingard, of course, refusing to allow this, has sent meager forces that cannot possibly win to aid the townsfolk, simply out of refusing to let anyone be sacrificed.
Zachariah smirks. Typical foolhardy, good logic, so to speak. You sacrifice even more troops this way, but of course they can't let innocents die.
This will further increase the ferocity of the bugbears and allow them to loot more useful equipment. Smiles. The plans are going splendidly, but of course, Thorn will tell you more when he arrives.
Thorn is coming here.
Yes, when we near our destination, he will come here and have a meeting and tell you everything you need to know about your next task. I can tell you now, however, that it has been granted to you and should be seen as quite an honor.
Very well.
He also asked me to tell you how pleased he is with your gift.
Zacharias bows. It is a token of appreciation from the Nasianot that he uplifted us and gave us a chance.
Yes. It is good, he says, that he has seen such devotion from his allies, and he asked me, she sort of seems a little pained now, and a little sort of grudgingly, as I cried, to bring some of your allies to aid you in your next task.
Oh, did he now?
They will arrive a little later than you, but the ogre and the boy should be there to aid you when the time comes.
Excellent. Thank you.
She smiles. Yes.
What's wrong with the ogre, Jake?
He doesn't listen.
He's great.
Kyron doesn't
Well-
like Grumblejack.
Yeah, I don't like Grumblejack.
Cash
Well,
doesn't
at
like
least at
Grumblejack.
Nobody
this
likes
point,
Grumblejack.
See, before he was almost a threat, but now if he threaten, like if he starts to get all uppity, we can just actually if he actually attacks, we can actually do something about it now.
Oh yes.
Like before, when we were level 2, he kind of probably could have wiped us, but at this point, no way.
That is to say that Grumblejack hasn't trained like we told him to do.
Ooh, shh, don't mention that.
Someone looks at a village. It is a shame that we pass so many by. He's just looking at it. But we don't have time to take care of all of them.
What horrible fate do you visit upon these villages as you go out in the dark, Lady Theodora?
Looks and smiles. I'm just reminding these poor souls of Talingard what hell is like. Do you have a problem with that?
Zacharias snorts. Of course not.
She smiles as you see a flicker in her form, as she seemingly instantaneously changed her looks to that of a knight of Ilarion. Rather stern-looking elderly guy with the royal symbol emblazoned on her shield. He looks judgingly towards the village, and then again you see Theodora, as she grins wickedly.
Oh, very impressive.
Not. Thorn allowed me to do this as long as guide. He thinks these actions will perhaps spread the word that The king is not what his ancestors were.
I'm sure it will.
It's not. I have much work to do, however. Have a good journey. I will contact you once Thorn has arrived. Do not disturb me.
Chiron whispers so that only pretty much Zacharias can hear. Of course, Your Highness. And leaves.
Zacharias, when he turns around from Theodora, he has a look on his face of not only displeasure but straight out hate. As he sort of walks back to his...
Cash, when she walks past Zacharias, she calls him dearest and smiles. And she walks all and it's stuck back.
Don't do that, Lady Cash.
Calm, both of you.
She looks at you and says, "If it pleases you, my lord."
Zacharias sets his jaw to a grimace. And he slowly and stiffly moves over to the railing.
Cash walks
Theodora will pay for this.
over. Why are you calling you that, by the way? Do you have a history or something?
She calls me that to spite me. Because she knows of my history.
What is your history, if you don't mind me asking?
I do, actually.
Fine. But how does she know?
Zacharias looks out over the water. I don't know. That is what is so disturbing
You
about
know
all
what's
of this.
surprised? They seem to know a surprising amount about all of us.
Yes,
It's-
they do.
Well, it's disturbing that it's only you she's doing it to. If she knows about all of us.
Zacharias grimaces. I do not wish to talk much about it, but I had a wife and a son once, and they were taken from me.
Oh.
That is what she mocks.
How does she know?
I am not sure. But she will pay for this one day. Oh, she will.
Well,
And
control your anger.
I think Asmodeus looks forward to that.
I control my anger. I have forged it into a steel blade that will cut to the heart of her one day.
If she even has one remaining.
If she does, let me have a look at it. I'm interested.
Yes, indeed. Zacharias looks out over the water again and mumbles to himself. You can barely hear it. I wonder if I will have a heart at that point. And he actually looks sad for a sec.
Cash is surprised. Do you need a hug? Oh, she doesn't say that. No.
There might have been unfortunate consequences.
She wouldn't say that. That was just my thought as, me. Oh, do you need a hug?
Baby Zacharias needs a hug.
Maybe. You can hug Darkbug in secrecy if you need to.
Only you understand me, Darkbark. That's right, boy. That's right.
He's sleeping on the deck right now. And he is the third
He is the third.
of his
What
clan.
happened to the first two?
We
don't
don't talk.
wanna know.
No, don't talk about that.
We don't talk about it.
But yeah, Zacharias looks sad for a second, but it passes, and once again he is his icy exterior looking out over the water.
Well, Cash, never ever having a family doesn't really understand him. Because my only family was a bunch of bugbears.
I'm sure that was quite a party.
Not really. They all died so quickly. She looked at not because of me, but because they live so short. They're very short-lived, those things.
So how exactly did you end up in prison? If you lived with bugbears, that seems to be a far way to travel from the far north down to Brandenskaw.
Well, the thing is, the bugbears and I had a disagreement. Well, long story short, I tried to kill the chief's son.
Oh,
Yeah.
tried as in you failed?
No, I did. I killed him, and after that, they weren't happy, but they didn't know what to do because what do you do to a thing like me? So I was simply just cast out, which was fine by me. It wasn't really that interesting to live there anyway. So I came to the city. Everyone hated and fearing me except the only woman I've ever loved. So basically, yeah, I met this woman who was an assassin.
An old profession.
It is, but
A necessary one.
a necessary one and a beautiful one, I might add. Well, at least she was my mentor, and we were perfect together.
I see.
Well, things as all good things have to end. An inquisitor killed her. I tried to revenge her, but for some reason this inquisitor was immune to poison.
What was the name of this inquisitor?
Trajan.
I see. Zachariah seems to lose interest again. Looking out over the water.
I don't know how he did it. I gave him the poison, he drank it all up, and he just acted like nothing happened. Yet he knew it was poisoned, and he found me quickly.
Well, maybe he is blessed by Mithra. I seem to recall the Knights of Illyrian and the former colleagues of Sir Thornblade here having similar fantastical powers.
I should just have slit his throat.
It is a more direct way, to be sure.
It is, but with all these guards he had, it wasn't something I could have done alone.
Indeed. Well, Zacharias looks over the water. So, and then you ended up in Brandenskar. I understand it.
Well, the thing is, I could never have given a chance to become good. As long when people see me.
People seem to judge what they don't understand, because what they don't understand scares them.
Indeed. All I am to people is an being or a prostitute.
Yes, and all I was a traitor and a wizard of the black arts. Zachariah shrugs. But one day they will understand.
A freak and a tool. All I ever have been. Well, you can add bastard onto that, thanks to my mother.
Oh, well.
Well, a mother and a very rich merchant.
Yes, I think I understand.
Azurius depressingly looks over the balcony. Well, what do you ever call it? What, railing? What do you call it?
Railing.
I guess railing.
Why is he depressed?
Thinking about the past.
Because he has to wear all this eyeshadow to look evil.
He
Do
doesn't
you see
have
those eyes?
he doesn't have the gothic plate of Marcus.
One
No.
moment.
Hey, don't disguise yourself as me. I'll give you diseases.
Excuse me.
So is Marcus at this point just reeking of like flies or anything like?
No,
Okay.
no.
If he is, I'll just create water over him.
Essentially, no. I don't have any diseases. I can just give them to you.
Hmm.
Like I just touch you and you take some damage, and then bam, you have a disease.
Zacharias looks to Marcus. So, what is your story? So, Thornbite, I don't think we ever heard it.
That's because I don't give it out freely. But I suppose if we'll be together in the long run, you might as well know it. I was once a paladin of Mithras. I worshipped Mithras with my life. I was in training, but my mentor, he was corrupt. He worshipped Asmodeus secretly, and he converted me slowly. He convinced me one day to kill another clergyman, and this I did. I was told by my mentor that he would vouch for me when I pleaded innocence, but he threw me under the bus and I was sent to Brander. Well, god damn it, that's not something. He threw me under the carriage and I was sent to Brandersgar.
I see. And do you still, even though your master betrayed you, worship Asmodeus as fervently?
I do, because I understand that is the way of Asmodeus' teachings in some cases. To be quite honest, I don't trust you as much as I should. Any of you. But this is how I'm going to survive, so this is what I'm doing.
Zacharias nods. I can respect that. Zacharias will throw a glance at Kyron.
Kyron has not been listening at all. And is looking out onto the lake.
This would make you interested.
Fireball!
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Well, he has fire resistance, it's okay.
Zacharias will, after a while, nod and move back into his little sitting position with his books and start writing. Basically, also setting aside a few pages for Cash if she was interested to copy anything later.
Indeed.
And yeah, time will pass at least for Zacharias.
And Cash.
Yes. Nothing much seems to happen. We should sail through the lake, Lake Tarek, and you begin to sail down the river again, going towards Farhold. You pass keeps. You're called sometimes, but they never seem to bother with actually stopping you, seemingly having many more things to consider and a rather loose garrison at the moment. As you go through the keeps, however, Theodora seems to no longer go out and look, as there aren't really many towns to see. You sail out into the bay, leading towards Farhold. There's quite hefty waters here, whirlpools and the like. Not really great water for sailing. But finally, you begin to see land soon on both sides, meaning that you will soon reach your destination. This evening of the 12th day,
Hello?
Theodora once again comes out of her cabin. Stands here, sort of looking at you, waiting for you to gather around. She looks at you. The master's here, and commands you attain him. Yeah, he says grimly. He's in the cabin.
Yes, nods.
She walks through the door.
Well, let's attain the master then.
Do you have your gift?
I think I give it to Theodora. She has already delivered it, I think.
Oh, so he already knows what's happened.
I should think so.
Hey,
Everyone is scuffling at the door.
Will you,
Cash like threw me back.
will you stood on top of me?
Cash just like elbow to to the stomach of Asmodeus. Or Asmodeus.
Asmodeus.
Yes!
That would be, I could think Cash doing that to Asmodeus.
Keep your hands to yourself.
How dare you, mortal! Hey! Shut up.
Yes, let's move into the cabin shop.
There's a thing
You
like
move into the cabin, and you see, indeed, Adrastus Thorn, the Cardinal of Asmodeus, sitting here in his comfortable chair. He still looks like the devilishly handsome bald man clad in black and burgundy robes. You remember. You can see his silvery, unholy symbol of the Lord of Hell around his neck. Yeah. Gives you a nod. Greetings. I thank you for your gift, and I will go straight to business. I'm sure you will have many preparations, and perhaps questions to ask me when I've told you what I'm going to tell you, but I ask you now, let me speak, and hold your questions for afterwards. There's much I must tell you, and I would rather not waste time.